welcome back to another Animal Adventures with Jordan, and today we're going to feature one of our, I guess, more famously known families at the park due to the recent birth of their first calf, and that is our American bison. Next to me here, this big guy, his name is Cash. His lady friend behind him is June, and their newborn female calf, her name is Carter. Now, bison, buffalo, tomato. If you remember our Asian water buffalo video, we kind of explained to you that true buffalo are actually from Asia and Italy and throughout European countries and India. Now, bison truly are from North America and Europe. Now, I believe there was 6, 7, 8 different species of bison, and all are actually extinct now, except for the American and the European. Now, both have had a very troubled past, as you likely know. In the 19th and 20th centuries, we just about hunted bison in America to extinction, and the same thing in Europe. And ironically enough, the Chernobyl disaster is kind of the safeguard that's helped the European bisons come back. That safe zone, that area of no entry, has become like a prolific breeding ground for them, which has brought their wild numbers back up. Now, of course, American bison jumped onto that endangered species list to be protected, and they are now in a, I guess, a more stable number, and you know that they are farmed here in the United States for their meat and things like that. However, genetically pure bison, there's only about 20-some thousand of them left. So that pure genetic strain is really a few and far between, I guess, at this point. Now I'm going to jump up here a little bit and put this into comparison. Now, I'm raised up a few feet above our bison, but don't let that fool you. They are absolutely massive animals. In body weight, they can easily obtain 1 pound, which is 2,000 pounds, 1 ton, which is 2,000 pounds, and can go all the way up to about 2,700 pounds. Our big guy, Cash here, I'd probably put him around the 1,700 to 1,800 pound mark. Now, the really neat thing about our bison is just how large this head is, and I can see if I can bring him up. Hey, Cash. Hey, big guy. Now, you can see just how massive that is in comparison to my hand. Now, this large head and obviously those horns on the sides are really what defend our bison. They are like the Sherman tanks, and in fact, they are, I believe, the largest terrestrial mammal in the United States and Europe. So massive, massive species, massive animal. Now, again, that giant head is what protects them against their predators. Now, who are their predators? Of course, they run into wolves and coyotes and brown bears, and generally the wolves will hunt them in a pack mentality and can take down the weak, the small, or the injured. Now, obviously, a wolf alone would struggle taking down an animal of this size, so generally, like I said, it is a pack mentality for that hunting success. Now, your brown bears, they can take down calves and things like that, but generally, they will scavenge the kills that wolves make. And of course, coyotes, same thing. Canine pack mentality can take down some of the smaller and weaker animals of a herd. Now, the herd, uniquely enough, is kind of like our giraffes. The males will leave the female herd at about 3 to 4 years of age as they're coming to pubescence or maturity, and the males kind of go out and form a bachelor group. The female herds all kind of stay together, and they might have a dominant male that's in there that's really spreading his seed and doing a lot of that mating. However, during the mating season, the different groups, the herds, will come back together and more males will interact with those females, and of course that's when we're going to see some of that courting behavior and fighting with those horns and those heads to really show that dominance and be able to spread that genetic seed and carry on that bloodline. Now, they are a bovine species, so they are obviously related to cows, and they can crossbreed, believe it or not. Quite often, ranchers will crossbreed bison with more domestic type species of cattle, and what that does is it makes them a hardier species because bison are extremely adapted to the environments that they live in. Now, back in the day, they would range anywhere from the east coast of the United States throughout the west, through the north, and all the way down into Mexico. Now, obviously, we find them more in pockets in the western territories. Now, in those territories, they're going to inhabit certain woodlands, they'll inhabit river valleys, also the Great Plains, and certain brushlands. And the neat thing about the bison is that they can really survive off of kind of some of the cruddier stuff that's out there. Being a very efficient grazer, they can eat and withstand their body weights and sustain themselves on many of the plant life that domestic cattle could not. So again, this kind of gives a little bit of a nod to their almost primal nature and the fact that they are quite adaptable for what does grow in their environment, and should there be a drought or a famine or so forth, they do pretty well with that. Now, not only are they adapted to obviously eat what's growing in the environment at the time, but also this big, shaggy, thick coat. Now, ours are just starting to regrow their winter coats. It's about fall here now in upstate New York. This coat is going to get much, much thicker. It's an extremely good insulator, and it's so insulated that, in fact, it holds the body heat into the body so much that snow will fall, land on their backs, and not melt, because the body is not losing enough heat to actually melt the snowflakes that are falling on top of them. It's very neat here in the winter months to come through the park and see about an inch or two of snow on their backs, and they do not skip a beat. They actually enjoy it. We see our bison really romp quite a bit in the colder months. Now, what we're going to try to do is we're going to try to sneak you down our fence line here to see our new calf, Carter. Now, Carter is about 1 month old. So why don't you follow me this way? Now, the neat thing about bison calves is that they're unique looking. They don't look like the parents. In fact, they come out very almost copper or tan in coloring. They don't have any of that black coloring on them just yet. Only a little bit around the eyes and the snout. There we are. And it almost looks like a cow that was born without its neck. All right. Now, as it continues to mature, that body will take on that, that pronounced buffalo or bison, build, and gonna be much more recognizable. Carter's being shy today. So a neat thing is that we were able to actually introduce our bison family back together, I guess reunite. Initially, when our female gave birth, our male, hi honey, talking about you. Our male, Cash, was isolated from June when she gave birth, just to make sure that she had a nice, calm, and easygoing birth. And soon after, Dad was reintroduced. If you haven't followed the story, we'll give you the quick rundown of what happened. When he came back into the environment, he got along with that calf just fine, but then within a few hours, his curiosity got the better of him. And he did what a curious first-time father bison would do. He played with the new item in his pen, and that was our baby. So through some rough housing, our staff intervened with heavy equipment. We're able to isolate Dad from the calf, scoop up that calf, bring it up into our quarantine barn. Dr. Tim came in, gave the calf a clean bill of health, and the calf within 24 hours was reintroduced back to mom, and within minutes, baby was suckling from mom again. So home run there. For the about 3 to 4 weeks until about yesterday, our male was kept separate. And what happens is he's able to see that calf, smell that calf, engage that calf through a protected fence line to get used to it. And then what happens is that over time, it kind of loses the novelty. So when reintroducing our bison bull to our female and her calf, he came in, no issues at all. And here we are again today without any issues, so success on that front. So on that note, we'll wrap it up today about our bison. And remember, it's June, it's Cash, and it's baby Carter. The American bison, not to be confused with their European cousin, the European bison, also known as the Wisent. W-I-S-E-N-T. I'm sure I said it wrong. Have a great time.